Alun Wyn Jones and Justin Tipuric both calling it quits from international rugby, folks. 4 or so months out from a Rugby World Cup. Kind of shocking news for me. I mean, Alun Wyn Jones at 37 and Tipuric at 33. Certainly, both of these legends are at the tail end of their career. But I thought one last hurrah with Wales and with Gats at the World Cup. But no, both of these guys have decided to call it quits. We'll go through their careers very kind of briefly and just, remember the times that they kind of amazed us, either for the Ospreys or for Wales or for the British and Irish Lions. So, I mean, Tipuric, most players you would compare him to, with 93 Test caps and one British and Irish Lions cap, that would look pretty impressive compared to virtually anyone. Even one Test cap is a pretty bloody big achievement. But to get close to 100 is a massive shift. It kind of pales in comparison when you put him next to Alun Wyn, I'll admit that. But Tipuric in his own right, absolute bloody legend. He's struggled with a bit of injury in recent times, which has kind of been unfortunate, but sometimes that just happens. That can happen with age as well. But I mean, he's been a proper stall, hasn't he? Tackling machine, turnover machine, bags a few tries, great in the air. That bloody blue headgear of his. When you see him coming, you know there's a menace on the way, basically. So, he's going to be a massive loss. It's an interesting one, though. Wales seem to breed loose forwards like crazy. I don't know what you guys put in the water over there. So, I mean, maybe part of that is the competitiveness of that jersey. I mean, he was named, both of these guys were named in Warren Gatland's kind of initial 54-man Wales squad with an eye on the World Cup. But, I mean, Tipuric's kind of not replaceable in the man himself. But, I mean, as I said, it's an area. I mean, Navidi's retired as well with concussion. But, I mean, was it concussion with him? Or was it shoulder? I forget. But Navidi retired. But, it's an area where Wales tend to have a decent amount of depth. But, I mean, the experience in 93 caps is certainly something else. My favourite game for Justin Tipuric was many people's probably not favourite game. And I'll admit, most of his Ospreys career, I probably haven't seen because I wasn't watching the Ospreys in any form until, in any kind of relatively recent years of my rugby watching career. But the game against Australia back in, I think, 2018, where they won 9 points to 6. Kind of a low-scoring game, not appreciated by many, just because it didn't have any kind of wonder tries or anything like flash. But it was peak Justin Tipuric going up against peak David Pocock. It was just a phenomenal game of tackles and turnovers. Brilliant just defensive display of rugby. I think Tipuric in that game made 20 tackles, which is a monumental shift in itself. I know we give credit to all the guys who get hat tricks and whatnot, but 20 tackles and a bunch of turnovers, that is something else. So, certainly that guy will be sorely missed. But then Alun Wyn, next level up. If you're talking about Tipuric as kind of a legend, what is Alun Wyn? Most capped Test player of all time with 170 games. Test matches, 158 for Wales and 12 for the British and Irish Lions. I mean, the fact that a guy like Tipuric only gets one Lions cap, and yet this guy can get 12, just again speaks to how well the man performed. Debuted for Wales back in 2006. What were you doing in 2006? I think I had just graduated university, and I was doing kind of a gap year in China, teaching in a small town and teaching English with long hair. Proper lout. But, made his debut in 2006. Wins 5 Six Nations, including 3 Grand Slams. Goes on multiple Lions tours. Wins the tour in 2013. I think he was captain for that final game as well when Brian O'Driscoll got dropped. But, I mean, for mine, I don't know if I have any one individual game. That's my favourite kind of Alun Wyn Jones game. But favourite campaign, from my memory anyway, is the 2019 Six Nations campaign where Wales in that World Cup year go on to get the slam. He is the top tackling lock in that tournament. He was just absolute machine-like work rate, despite the fact that even 2019 he was still into his 30s, well into his 30s. He gets player of the championship. and pretty well deserved. Yeah, he's a real. I mean, that shoulder recovery he had for the last Lions tour down in South Africa, where he looked to be out for a long time, and he still managed to fly out late for the tour, was just incredible stuff. So, yeah, both these guys obviously will be sorely missed. But, I mean, such is the fate of every rugby player. Eventually there's going to be a day where you hang up the boots. As I mentioned, it is kind of peculiar timing, given they've both been named in the kind of initial Rugby World Cup squad. They both talked about, conversations they've been having in the background and whatnot. So, yeah, they've both decided to hang up the boots, which is both disappointing, but then equally it's an opportunity for someone else. So, yeah. You guys let us know your thoughts. Any particular memories about these guys? Like I mentioned, top of my head for Tipuric was that Australia game. And for Alun Wyn was that, apart from the shoulder recovery, was that 2019 campaign where he was certainly at the peak of his powers as well, despite people continuously telling us he's too old. He kept getting it done. They used to say the same about McCaw, to be honest, prior to 2015. New Zealand talkback radio. He's too old, still got the job done. So, yeah. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.